With Lightroom, you can create a personalized watermark and place the watermark on any of your images, whether they're destined for the web or a slideshow, print, or simply for export. In this video, I'll show you how to create a custom watermark and how to place it. Watermarks are especially useful when you want to brand or protect your images from unauthorized use. I'm going to access the watermark editor through the export function of Lightroom. But before I do that, I want to show you that you can also find it in the slideshow module down here under watermarking, select edit watermarks. You can also find it in the print module under watermarking and then edit watermarking. And in the web module also under watermarking, edit watermarks. But let me go back to the library module and I'm going to select export. And I can select the watermark editor down here under watermarking, and I'm going to edit watermarks. And that brings up the watermark editor that you see here. And I've already created one watermark, one personalized watermark with my name and the copyright symbol. Well, let me just walk you through the process of how I did this. Now, first of all, you can see how a preview appears, and this shows you whatever you've typed into this field down here. I can just start over again and I'll start typing there. Now I got the copyright symbol by using on the Mac, Option and then G. On a PC, it's a little bit more complicated. Maybe the easiest way is just to cut and paste a copyright symbol from one of your word processing programs. There are other ways of doing it on a PC, but frankly, they're a little more complicated. So anyway, there's the copyright symbol, and then I'll go ahead and put my name in there. And you can see it's appearing up in the preview area. Now, right away, I really wish I could do everything from the preview area, but I can only do a few things. The first thing I can do is I can resize. If I want to make this larger, I just click and drag, and you can see how I'm resizing the text just by clicking and dragging. I really wish I could just click and drag it around on the image, but that's not going to happen. We have to do that over here in the right. So let's move over to the right side and go through the various options here. So first of all, we can choose whether this is a text or a graphic, and I'm going to stick with text for now. But just know that you can, if you want, create a graphic and then just upload the graphic into Lightroom and use that as your watermark if you want. And you do that here under Image Options. So as far as text options go, you have all your different fonts to choose from, styles to choose from, whether they're aligned to the left, the middle, or to the right. You can select a color for the font, and the color, white is going to work fine against a dark background, but if your image is really, really light, you may want to select a darker color. Now, one way to get around some of the problems of reading the text or the type is here under Shadow. You can create a drop shadow that will make it more readable. And so all these settings, every setting you see here has to do with the way the drop shadow will appear. And you can see as I move this slider left and right, that's not so obviously, but that's the opacity, the offset of the drop shadow, the radius, and the angle of the drop shadow. Again, all this is to help make the type more readable. Now, as far as watermark effects go, this is the opacity. So if I want to lower the opacity and make the watermark less obvious, I drop that slider down to the left, and to the right makes it more obvious, more opaque. Down below that, the sizing, right now I have it proportional. And the proportional is controlled by this slider, or like I showed you earlier, just clicking and dragging within the preview area itself. If you want the watermark to fit entirely across the image, you just select Fit, and if you want it to fill the image, you select Fill. I'll go back to proportional. Okay, so now we get into the controls of how to move it around within the image itself. And right now I've got it on the lower left-hand side of the image, and that's where it'll appear. There's times when you want it to be on the right side, in the middle, at the top. Sometimes you want it to be in the middle and expand throughout all the way throughout the image, which protects it from being copied. But here under Inset, if I move the Inset to the left, it's moving the watermark to the left. Obviously, if I move it to the right, it's moving it to the right. And this will move it vertically up and down. But you can see I'm limited with these two controls to what I can do. I need to then move down to the anchor options to really move it around within the image itself. So if I select the middle dot here, that's going to place it right in the middle of my image area. If I select the dot up to the right, it's going to place it up in the upper right. I mean, this is pretty obvious now how this is working. Now, I generally keep my watermarks in the lower left, so I'll just go ahead and keep it down there. And as far as size goes, that's a little bit bigger than I would like, so I'm going to bring it down proportionally a bit. Now, if you want, you can also rotate the type here using the rotate controls. Let me go back to there, where it was. All right, so you have a lot of control about where the type is placed. You have control about the shadow, how the shadow is going to appear. You have control over the different fonts, styles, alignment, color. All this is on the right-hand side. Now, once you're done, once you've finished that, you can now save that. Obviously, this is what you want to be able to do. Save the current settings as a new preset, and I'll give it a name. I want this to be the copyright. Now, I've already got one of these, so I'm going to give this I'll just call it number 2. But if I give it a new name, that won't be a problem. And then create. And now I have various options. I can delete the previous one if I want to. Let's go ahead and select that. And now I'm going to delete that preset because I already have another one. Yes. And you can make as many of these presets as you want. Now, if you have multiple images selected and you want to see how that might appear on the different images, because each image is going to be a little bit different depending on how dark it is or the orientation. See these arrows up here? If I had multiple images selected, let me go back now, and I'm going to make multiple selections. So this is actually kind of useful to understand. So let me just make more than one selection with different kinds of images and go back to select export, and now select edit watermarks. Now watch what happens. Whoops, I've lost my setting. There we go. Now watch what happens when I use these arrows. I can scroll through the different images that I've... Aha, okay. Let's see what's going on here. Hold on a second. Let's cancel. We're only exporting one file. Nope, let's go back again. So let me make multiple selections. I see what I did wrong here. And there we go. There's a bunch of images I'm going to export. And now let's go back under the watermark and edit watermarks and give it a custom watermark. And now watch what happens. This is important because now I can go through the different images and I can see how that particular watermark will work on that image. And so, frankly, sometimes if you've created a light type against a light background, it's just not going to work. So this gives you a good way to scroll through multiple images and make sure that watermark's going to look just right. So when you're all done, you just select done. And now in this case, because I'm exporting these files and I've selected watermark and I've selected the custom watermark, all those images will be watermarked with that. So I'm not going to do that. I'll just hit cancel. If I was over in the slideshow module, and I selected watermarking and selected now this custom watermark, which shows up, that will appear down the lower left-hand side of my slideshow. And I think you're getting the idea. Under the print module, if I select the custom watermark, it'll show up in the lower left-hand corner of that, and in the web module as well. Now, you won't be able to do the custom watermarking on the web module when you're using the flash option, but for the HTML you will be able to use it. We go back over to the library module. So there you see, it's actually pretty simple to make your own custom watermark that you can apply in Lightroom. Just keep in mind that you can make as many of these watermarks as you want. Have fun.